some more volume. Here we're going to be finding the volume of a cylinder. So volume formula for a cylinder is pi r squared times height. So the area of a circle times the height. So what is the volume of the cylinder? Leave in terms of pi. So here's what we mean by leave in terms of pi. First, volume equals pi times radius squared. My radius is 5, right? Times the height, which is also 5. So I'm leaving in terms of pi, so I'm not going to do anything with the pi. Nothing at all. 5 squared is 25, and then 25 times 5 is 125, and I just put the pi on the end, centimeters cubed, and this is in terms of pi because we leave the pi. So you just multiply all the numbers, and then you put pi on the end. This is the most accurate form of volume for this cylinder. So here we go, find the volume of the next cylinder, leave in terms of pi. Volume equals pi times radius squared times height. Well, the radius squared is 36 times 4, and then I'm just going to add on the pi at the end. So again, we do not need to do anything with the pi. 36 times 4 is 144 pi centimeters cubed. This is in terms of pi. So what is the volume of the pi of this cylinder? Volume equals pi r squared. R is my radius. Remember, radius is half, is from the center of the circle to the end, so half your diameter. Here we're given the radius, so we don't need to worry about a diameter. Times 6. Okay, 4 squared is 16. And again, we're solving in terms of pi, so just leave the pi there. 16 times 6 equals 96 pi centimeters cubed. So that's a 96 centimeters cubed. So we're going to leave in terms of pi. So volume equals pi times my radius squared times the height so we're leaving in terms of pi. So 1,200 pi centimeters cubed. Now, how does the volume of a cylinder change if its height or radius is doubled? So let's first double the radius. We're going to use the example we just solved before. So if I double the radius, 20 squared times 12. So it's pi times 400 times 12. So 4,800. So if you look at the radius, when the radius is doubled compared to when it's not doubled, it is 4 times the amount. Okay, so we doubled the radius, so times 2, well, that's times 2 squared because we have to square our radius. So it's actually 4 times larger when your radius is doubled. Let's look at the height. When we double the height, times 24 in this case, and we'll leave pi there. So here we get 2,400 pi. So when you double just the height, the volume itself is just doubled. When you double the radius, the volume is quadrupled because the radius has to get squared. So 2 squared is 4. That's why it is quadruple. For an art project, you plan to pour different colored sand into a vase with a volume of 47.5 inches cubed. You have 3 cylindrical bottles of sand. Do you have enough sand to fill the vase? So we have to find the volume. Good thing all the bottles are the same. So we only need to find the volume of 1 here and times it by 3, or multiply it by 3. First thing I notice is that I'm given diameter. So I have to take 2.5, my diameter, divide it by 2 to find the radius. So my radius is 1.25. So when I'm finding the volume is radius squared times the height, and then I'm going to solve this in terms of pi to start. So always solve in terms of pi. I know it says use 3.14 for pi, but I'll show you how we are going to do that at the end. So I begin to solve this, squaring 1.25. And then I'm going to multiply that by 3.75. So there it is in terms of pi. Now there's 3 bottles. 1, 2, 3. 3 bottles of sand. So I'm going to take this and multiply it by 3. And I get 17.57812 pi. Now it said use 3.14 for pi. So now let's get rid of that pi, and let's substitute 3.14 for that number. So I can take 17.578125 and multiply it by 3.14, and I get, and I'm going to go approximate here because I'm going to solve round to the nearest tenth. 19, this 9 rounds that to 55.2 cubic inches. So if all 3 bottles of sand give me 55.2 cubic inches, my vase is 47.5. This means that yes, I do have enough sand to fill the vase. So here we're preparing juice from a can of juice concentrate. Directions say to add 3 cans of water to the concentrate. So that's a total of 4 cans because you have the concentrate and then you're adding 3 cans of water. So we are going to take the volume of my juice concentrate here and multiply it by 4. First I have to find the radius, which is my diameter, divided by 2, which gives me 1.125. So I'm going to solve in terms of pi. And then at the end, use 3.14 for pi because it says to the nearest cubic inch. So I'm going to solve in terms of pi, but then use 3.14. So radius squared times the height, 1.125 squared times 4.25, again is 53790.625. I just typed everything that was in my calculator, pi. Now I'm going to multiply it by 4 because I'm pouring 4 cans into a pitcher. 1 with the concentrate, 3 filled with water. And now I'm going to multiply that by 3.14 or 5. And I get, rounded to the nearest tenth, this many cubic inches, but it says round to the nearest cubic inch, so that would mean it is 68 cubic inches of juice. So here we're given the volume. We want to find the radius. Pi r squared times 4.8. And it says use 3.14 for pi, so I'm going to do r squared times 4.8, which is my height, times 3.14. So 4.8 times 3.14. This becomes a solving equation like we did at the very beginning of the year. So I just multiplied those two and get 15.072 times radius squared. Now I divide by 15.072 to get r squared equals 0.99522. And then I am going to square root that answer to get just r, and I get r equals 0.99, and it says to the nearest tenth of an inch. So my radius to the nearest tenth is going to be 1.0. All right, one more here, and this is in terms of pi. We got lucky. So there's my volume. Here's my volume for you, pi radius squared times height. Now the first thing I can do is just get rid of my pi's. Because I'm multiplying, to get rid of it, I need to divide. Pi divided by pi cancels, just leaves me with 1. So now I have 12 pi r squared. So now I can divide by 12 to get r squared by itself. 192 divided by 12 gives me 16. So I square root, and my radius is 16 feet.